Your calling is where your love and your hate meet. What you love and what you hate is where they meet. Where what you love and what you hate meet. That is where your calling is. Now, you see, everybody is so confused about how to find out their calling. Almost everywhere I go, everybody is talking about how do I discover my calling? How do I know what I'm called to do? How do I know what I'm supposed to do? What's my calling? These questions keep on coming up and coming up. And I'm giving you different keys every day. And I'm sure that each of these keys is enough to help you find out what you are called to do in life. And one of the things that will really help you to know what you are called to do in life is the point that we are going to address today. It's about what is in you already. You see, God made us to be people of passion. God made us to be people of response, of reactions. So because God has put in us some temperament that are geared towards our calling. God built us in such a way with such temperament, passion, and emotion that will be a pointer to where we're supposed to go in life and to what we're supposed to do. So your emotions and your passion are not by accident. Nothing happens by accident with God. Everything He created in you, He created it for a purpose. Everything He created in you, He created it for a purpose. And if He gave you the temperament He gave you, I tell you there is no mistake about it. He knows that temperament will lead you, will be a pointer to wherever He wants to lead you and what He wants you to become in life. And if He puts some passion in you, that passion also is supposed to be a pointer and to lead you into the destiny and the calling that you have in life. What do I mean? We all respond to different things differently. You know why? Because we are built for different things. We respond to different things differently. Why? Because God has put in us different passion, different response systems, different reactions, different temperament, different feelings because of different challenges and different assignments that we have. Like for example, I hear people talk about gay marriage all the time. There are some Christians, they are talking about this gay marriage, these gay people. And do you know there are some other Christians that don't even really care about it. They don't even pay attention to it. Gay marriage, gay, they don't even pay attention. But when you talk about the poor, for example, that they come alive, they say, yes, that is it. You say, why? Why is it that some Christians will be moved by some questions and they will be so touched and they will be saying, we need to fight, we need to do this. And same Christians, even in the same church, we just be totally different about it. Because we are built with our specific passion, response systems, temperament, totally different from each other. We don't have the same passion. We don't have the same temperament. We don't have the same response system. We don't have the same, response mechanism in us as everybody else. So we cannot all be the same. So there are some people that have this response system that makes them to respond to certain things, while other people might not even respond to that. So what's the point I'm trying to make by this? I'm trying to tell you that your passion, your responses, your attitude, your reactions have a lot to do with what God wants you to do in life. There are some women that are so passionate about children, but there are some other women that maybe they love children, but they're not so passionate about it. If not because of stigma, there's public stigma, some of them would not even try to have children anyway. So why? It's like every woman should love children. Well, it doesn't follow. Some women don't have so much passion for it. Why is that? It's because we are created for different things. So what should your passion tell you And how do you use your passion to determine your destiny? That's what I'm going to be talking about today. How do you, study your passion? How do you study your reactions, your attitude? How do you study your temperament so that it will lead you right into your calling? So that just by you observing your temperament, just by you observing your passion, you will walk right into what God wants you to do. Well, one way to study your passion, and one thing you want to look for when you look at your passion, is to look for the things that cause double reaction in your that double feelings in you. Look for things that cause that call for or cause double feelings in you. Let's say, the feeling of double passion is almost impossible. But when you find a situation when your passion is duplicated or goes in two different, there is a conflict of passion, or when there is at the intersection of two passions, that's where your calling is. Well, let me try to bring it at home better. So the two passions I'm talking about, first of all, is the passion of love. These are strong passions. The passion of love and the passion of hate. Can you imagine that the two passions could be working against each other in you, but toward the same goal? So the passion of love and the passion of hate could be the pointer to your calling, to your destiny, and to what you are supposed to confront in life. So actually, both passion and hate could be working at the same time on your behalf and for you, and both of them could be leading you to your direct destiny. So let's now study how love and hate can work together to lead you into your destiny, into your calling. Let me give you concrete examples. Let's say, on one hand, you love your country. On one hand, you love your country. It doesn't matter what country you come from. Right? Like right now, we have elections coming up in America. And or maybe you are from somewhere else. Let's say you are from Nigeria, or you are from any other person. But you love your country. But at the same time, you love your country because, when something is happening about your country, you are proud of your country, you have passion for your country, you are not indifferent about your country, you are so passionate about your country. But at the same time, there are some people who are citizens of your country that don't care for that country, or that criticize the country, that put the country, that even want to leave the country. The fact that you love your country is not what I'm talking about alone, but I'm talking about when two passions meet. And the first one is you love your country passionately. So anything that concerns your country touches your heart, brings out some special feeling, some passion, some enthusiasm, some response, some reactions in you. That is the love factor. When love and hate lead you to your calling. But on the other hand, so we know the love factor, you love your country, you respond to your country, strong feelings. But on the other hand, even though you love your country, but on the other hand, you have hatred for the things that are happening in that country. So even though you love the country on one hand, but on the other hand, you have anger, strong passion against some of the things that are happening, maybe with the politics of the land. So it's a thin line between love and hate. So you love your country on one hand, but you get irritated. That same country that gives you strong emotions, that same country that makes you to feel that, you are ready to do everything for her. That same country brings you a lot of frustration and a lot of disappointment and a lot of anger and strong emotions about what you see happening in that country. You see they are at the intersection right there of love on one hand and on the other hand, hatred. Anger, hatred. You hate the political, mess that is happening. Maybe you hate the way the leadership is being handled. Maybe you hate the corruption in the land. Maybe you hate the injustice that's happening in the country. So you love the country on one hand, but you hate something else about that country on the other hand. So that thing to you is a pointer that is what you are meant to deal with. Whenever your hatred, your love and your hatred meet that way, it means that is what you're supposed to deal with. That means that God, and through your passion, through your emotions, through your reactions, through your temperament, is pointing you right into the middle of your calling, into the middle of your purpose. So through your emotions, through your passion, God is trying to tell you that is what you are supposed to deal with. You are called, so you are built to deal with that thing. So your temperament is responding. Your passion is responding in two opposite directions. Why? Because it is the love that you have for that country that drives you to want to sacrifice. It is the love that you have for that country that drives you to want to study, to want to do everything that you need to do to change it. But on the other hand, it is the hatred that shows you what you are supposed to change. It is the hatred that leads you into the thing that must be uprooted. But it is the love that makes you to want to go through the process of sacrifice. To want to sacrifice what you need to sacrifice. Sacrifice anything you need to sacrifice. And it is the thing that you hate that will make you to know what you're supposed to deal with. Patrick Christian is writing here. You see that it's King James says there is a time to love, a time to hate, a time for war, and a time for peace. So when that begins to happen inside one man, you should know the calling is at the door. Calling is knocking at the door. Destiny is knocking at your door. Destiny is knocking at your door. On the other hand, there will be some people in your country, citizens of that same country, that are not even touched. They are not even touched by what you are talking about. They are not even touched. They think, wow, that's bad. I forgot about it. Yes. So where is the intersection? What do you have? Maybe it's not your country. Let's take another topic, for example. I know a lot of Christians that are very passionate about family. Family values. Everything is family values. No matter what thing you talk about, it's family values. No matter what thing you talk about, family values. But at the same time, they are frustrated about family values. At the same time, they don't like what is happening in the area of family values. I mean, they are always angry that something is not right about family values. They are always complaining, oh, the families of these days, oh, there is divorce, oh, there is this, husbands don't behave well, oh, wives don't behave well, oh, this and this is not happening. They are passionate. They love family. They want to build families. They, on one hand, it's everything they want to talk about. That's exactly what they want to do. They want to resolve family value to families, into homes. They are talking about family all the time. It's their dream about family. It's their passion. They want to push, as if family is the only issue in Christianity. In fact, they even go to the extent of saying that Christianity is about family. God just set up Christianity because to show us family, how family should be, and everything is family. But on the other hand, they are frustrated when they see family values falling up all around them. So what is that? The intersection of love and hatred. Intersection of love and hatred. On one hand, they love family, they love the idea, they want to see the improvement, they want to see the growth in family, they want to see families change, they want to see family values exalted, they want to see families come to a better place. But on the other hand, they see all what is happening in families and they get sad and they get angry. They hate what is happening about family. They hate it. But on the other hand, they love family itself. And they want family values to prevail. But on the other hand, they hate the failure they are seeing in family values. So that love for the family institution and the hatred of what is happening to family, the intersection of love and hate is your calling. And what does that tell that kind of person? That situation tells you that your calling is to deal with family. Your calling is to change family values. Your calling is to challenge those things that irritate you. Your calling is to uproot those things that anger you. Your calling is to go and head on fight and, confront those things that are causing the hatred. And love is what gives you the power, the grace to persevere and pay the price that you need to pay to be able to change whatever is happening. In that area. The love is what gives you the self-discipline to go and pay the price of change. The love that you have, the passion that you have, it what makes you to go all the way, to sacrifice, to deny yourself, to persevere, and to lay your life down to be able to make sure that the changes that you want to say, that they really come across. For example, when we started our church, before we started our church, I never even knew there were. I saw that. I used to see some alcoholic people drunk in the city, but just drunk people. I mean, people are drunk. We just look down at them, and say, how can these people behave like this, like an animal? No compassion, no love, no compassion for them, no love for them, no even anger. Just humiliate. You just try to despise them. But when I met Natasha, alcoholic, and she told me who she was. When she told me who she was, and I now told Natasha that, okay, God has told me that we should look for those alcoholics, and for alcoholic and drug addicts, and look for the down and outs. She was working for a foreign company, and she's a single woman. She said, yes. I couldn't believe it. What was the problem? She said, I'm going to retire from my job. I am going to lose my salary. I'm going to lose my job and everything. I don't know what to live on, but I'm going to give my life to go and look for people like this who are drug addicts. God, she said, God made me to undergo what alcoholism is, to be an alcoholic. God allowed that to happen in my life for me to come face to face with this tragedy, so that I will be able to face it. So she resigned her job and she began to go every day to look for drug addicts and alcoholics. But more than that, So I invited her. We started. I was still working on television that time. So I invited her to come and speak with me, to come and do interview, and I give her testimony. When she knew, she said, would I have opportunity to speak to alcoholics and drug addicts through that television program? I said, oh yeah. So she said, okay, that's going to be in a month's time. She said, I'm going to pray and fast for them. I loved it. I don't just want to speak and tell my story and testimony just like that. I want to call on them to come, and I want God to set them free. So she went on 21-day fast. She didn't eat for 21 days. So that, because she has so much passion and love. She's so angry at the fact that alcohol is destroying people. She was so angry and frustrated at our families. She's telling me all kind of gory stories about how families have been destroyed and all that. But she hated what alcoholism has been doing to people. She hated what alcoholism had done for her and against her and in her life. But also she loved the people. She loved alcoholics. I mean, how can you love alcoholics? Hello? How can you love alcoholics? How can you love alcoholics? How can you love drug addicts? How can you love them? Are they lovable? I never knew until I met Natasha alcoholic. I never knew that until I met Natasha alcoholic. And she had so much love, she declared 21 days fast. And she never ate for 21 days. So when we went to do that program, she spoke to them in their language. People started to call. And that was one of the breakthroughs that we recorded in the history of our church. People started looking for her everywhere. Because she came on TV and told everybody a real story. And said I was alcoholic. And I met this young man. And my life is turned around. If you're an alcoholic wherever you are, or you're a drug addict, call me. Look for me. Because she had the love for the alcohol victims. So strong a love that she could sacrifice her food, She could sacrifice her comfort. She could sacrifice even not to eat for 21 days. Just seeing those people coming. Just envisaging that God is going to touch them through our words. And our words is going to touch their hearts. And they are going to come. And because she so much desires that these alcoholics and drug addicts will be set free from addiction. So she was seeing them free. She was seeing them set free from drug addiction. And from all the kind of captivity they were. That desire to see them free made her to have the strength to fast. It gave her the strength not to eat for 21 days, just like what we saw Jesus do, because Jesus' love was for the lost. And she said, they were asking him to come and eat. Why have you not gone to eat? He said, this is the food that I have. This is the food that I have, a food that you don't know. When you find your place, the place of your passion, with the place of your calling, it's like a food to you. That is what happened to Natasha, alcoholic. And then she went to do that program, and then she was giving her life every day, meeting with these people, responding to their requests and to their needs and all that. So she hated what alcoholism has done to people on one hand, but she loved the people who are the victim of alcoholism. So love and hate meet. Where love and hate meet is your calling. So God is using your response, your passion, to, of hate or of love and hate, when they collide on one subject about one particular thing. That is what your passion, what your calling is about. Like so you maybe like, for example, I live in Ukraine here, and people are saying these Ukrainians have done so many evil things against you. They have fought you. They have blackmailed you. They have spoken lies about you. The government is fighting you on a daily basis. Why are you still in that country? Why do you still love these people? I said, for me, it's not about Ukrainians or Russia. I don't care who. My passion is love for God and love for people, and also anger about the fact, about ignorance that is holding people down, and frustration, anger about darkness that people are living in. I just want to set them free. I just want to liberate them. I just want to open the eyes of the people. I don't like oppression, when Satan or people or ignorance is taking a hold of people and oppressing them. But there are some other people that they hate sickness, and they love people to be healed. So that might be their own platform, but we must use that, the gift of healing and all that. But that is not the message. You see, the message is the kingdom of God, and the message is the kingdom of God, the kingdom of the gospel of the kingdom. But your tool that you use to preach the gospel of the kingdom is through supernatural healing and deliverance and all those kind of things. Not the kind of deliverance people are doing in churches, but deliverance, real genuine deliverance. Because what we do also with the drugs and alcohol is also deliverance, but it's not like people are turning into a show, ceremony. But now let me show you scriptural examples, because I'm talking to mainly Christian audience here. They like the Bible. They always like me to use references. So let's go to the Bible. You remember the situation. Let me just remind you of the stories. You remember Moses. You remember Moses? You know his story? Yeah, you should. Moses, this was the way he recognized his calling. Moses had love for the children of Israel who were there in Egypt. He had love for the children of Israel. He loved them. Maybe he didn't even realize yet that he was a Jew himself, but he loved them. He had some love for them. On one hand, but on the other hand, he hated what was happening to them. His love and hatred intercepted. His love and hatred collided. So your calling is in that place where both your love and hatred meet. So Moses loved on one hand the children of Israel, but he did not just hate what they were doing to them or what they were doing against them, but he also hated what they were doing to themselves. You remember the first time he spoke, was, he was very, angry at what the Israelites, the Egyptians were doing against the Jews. So he killed the Israeli, the Egyptian. He killed the Egyptian. So that's on one hand. He loved Israel and the Israelites on one hand so much that he had to kill the people who are doing evil to them. So both love and hate collided. But on the other hand, the next time he came out, he saw that he still loved the children of Israel, but he saw what the children of Israel themselves were doing against themselves, and he hated that as well. So hatred, a lot of anger, a lot of hatred. So where your anger and your love meet is where your calling is. So where your anger and your love meet is where your calling meets, is where your calling is. So that is the situation that Moses found himself, and that is how Moses got to find out his calling as well. So I want to ask you, what are the things that are really frustrating you? Well, your calling could be in your frustrations. Your calling could be in your frustrations. Maybe those are the things you are supposed to deal with. But the frustration alone is not enough. Apart from the frustration, you also need the love. Love for something, love for that topic, love for that, because it is that love that will sustain you. It is that love that will give you the staying energy to be able to fight for a change, to be able to endure and persevere and go through what you need to go through. So what you're supposed to do. So what you're supposed to do is to take an inventory of yourself. Take an inventory of your passion. Take an inventory of your emotions. Take an inventory of your responses, of your reactions. How do you react to different things? What are the things that you really feel that you cannot be indifferent about? What are the things that are really causing anger in you? What are the things that are really causing, frustration, anger, bitterness in you? What are the things that at the same time you love, but at the same time they are the things that anger you? For example, a lot of Nigerians I know are living in the diaspora. Even though they are living in diaspora, but they are living the Nigerian life. They are thinking about their country. They are thinking about their own country. They are thinking about Nigeria. Even though they have family, yes, but they are still thinking about Nigeria. Even though they have children, yes, but they are still thinking about Nigeria. But when they think about Nigeria, they are thinking about Nigeria not just in the area of, love, but they are also having frustration about Nigeria. They are thinking about Nigeria with feelings of anger, frustration, disappointment, hatred to some things that are happening in that country. But on the other hand, they cannot stop thinking about it because they love that country. So when you have that, it may mean that you need to pack your load and go back home. The same thing with me. Before, you never hear me talk about Nigeria until last year. I never even remember about Nigeria. But God did something to me. God, in the last 1 year or 1.5 years, even somebody wrote me yesterday and said, Pastor, your passion for Nigeria keeps on growing. Yes, God had given me love and anger about what is happening in Nigeria. So my love and anger has collided about Africa in general. So now I know that I have to face it because I know it. So the same thing with some of you. So some of you, you are living abroad and it's like you have everything going for you. You have a good family, or you have, it's like you are okay. You are supposed to be satisfied. Some people want to even leave Nigeria and come to live in Europe. Maybe most people there want to come to Europe. But you are thinking, you are thinking about going back to do something. Or maybe you are afraid of going back, but you are, you have that anger and that frustration. But unfortunately, because most people don't know this station, when they see themselves having anger and frustration and love at the same time, they run away because they don't know what's happening to them. So they run away from it. But it's the opposite. You are supposed to run towards it. So because I know a lot of people that are so frustrated about the things that are wrong in Nigeria, they are so angry about it, but at the same time they love Nigeria. But you know what they have done? Oh, I will never go back there again. Because there is no electricity, there is no infrastructure. They are afraid of what they hate. They are afraid of what they hate. What they hate. They are afraid of what they dislike. They are also scared about what is causing frustration in them. They are scared of that feeling of anger that they are feeling. But God could use your anger, you see. God could use your anger. God, when it comes to feel, most of the time, God actually put that anger in you. God implanted that anger in your emotions so that it will point you to something. But if you don't know this word, if you don't know this teaching and this revelation, you might think that, no, the anger is bad. You might think that because the hatred is bad, and you will begin to run away from it. So many people that I know like that, they run away from their destiny. They don't even know. They think they are running away from the problem, but they're actually running away from that problem, from their destiny, because that problem is what they're supposed to face. Some people, they even though they have love for their country, or they have love for that subject, or they have love for that problem, they have passion, they are not indifferent, but when they think about the things that frustrate them, that anger them, that they hate, they begin to just go under. They become like they just go under. They go under and run away from it and don't want to face the challenge. And they might think that the challenge is too overwhelming. But that is what God has equipped them for. If you have that anger and you have the love at the same time, it means God has equipped you to be able to deal with the situation. So running away from it is running away from your destiny. Running away from it is can you just imagine? It's like Moses, when Moses saw the situation that was happening with the children of Israel. He loved the children of Israel on one hand, but he hated what was happening to them. Can you just imagine if he says, how will I be able to confront Egypt? There is no way I could confront Egypt. Egypt is so strong for me. Oh, let me just forget about this thing. Let me just forget about it and just run away. Well, he was confronting it. And he only ran away when he couldn't survive, when there was a death warrant on his life. That was what he ran away from. But he was actually still having that burden, and that's why God came back to him and called him to go back and still confront what his calling is. You remember? Let me give you another example. I think the ladies will like this example. You remember Esther? You remember Esther? Esther, had a situation that is similar to that. Esther, God used the love of Esther and the anger and the hatred of Esther to bring her to her destiny, to bring her to the platform, to her platform, to her destiny, and to her destination, to her purpose in life. Because she loved her people. Oh, Esther loved her people. Esther loved her people. And because of that love, she was able to risk her life, you could say, because she was not supposed to go into the king at the time she went. Because according to the law of the land, if you go and appear before the king at the wrong time, at the time that you are not invited, when you are not supposed to appear there, you could lose not just your position, you could lose your head as well. But she had such a strong love. You see, it is the love that will make you to want to sacrifice. It is the love that will make you to want to go through danger. When you love the thing, and you are aware that that love, intersection of that love and hate, that it is God trying to talk to you and it is God trying to use you, then you will be able to to go through what you need to go through. So Esther, because of the love that she had for Israel, for her people, she was able to take the risk. But at the same time, even though she had love for her people, but she had anger and hatred at the injustice that was happening to them. So she wanted the injustice and the anger. It is the pointer to what you need to change. So when you have a love for something and anger, frustration at the same time, it's not always bad. It is just an indication or a way of God talking to you. It is just a means of God trying to convince you or let you hear his voice, let you know what you're supposed to deal with. And we know what happened with Esther. We know what happened with Esther. She did a good job. She said, if I perish, I perish. You see, every deliverer must come to a place where he will be able to tell himself, if I perish, I perish. You know, your love must be so strong that, you know, like I'm going to Nigeria now. I don't care. I'm ready to die. I'm going to Nigeria to die, actually. I'm not going there to make a living or to survive. I'm going there ready to die already. And, you know, when your love is so strong for something, your commitment, just like for God, I'm ready to die for God. I'm ready to die. I'm a dead man. I see myself as a dead person. So when your love is so strong for you to be ready to die, and on the other hand, your love is so strong to be able to do anything you need to do to correct. Your anger is so strong to confront something that you need to correct. Then you know you are in a calling. You are in for a calling and destiny right there. Destiny is calling. Calling is calling you. I mean, purpose is calling you. God's commission is calling you. So in the case of Esther, you know, would discover her calling in her anger. And she discovered her calling in her love as well. So she discovered herself, her calling and her destiny, both in her anger and in her calling and in her hatred. So you know, Patrick gave us the scripture here. Esther 4:16, King James Version says, "Go gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise, and so will I go." That is love. That is love. And that is also hatred for the injustice that was happening. I will go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. If I perish, I perish. If I perish, I perish. So that's what we're talking about. So God uses your love and your hatred to change you. God will use your love and your hatred to direct you. God will use both your love and your hatred to speak to you. God will use both your love and your hatred to guide you. God will use two opposing passion to speak to you. All right, it will use your opposite passion to speak to you. So your calling is where what you hate and what you love meet. Your calling is at that junction where your love and your hatred meet. When you hate something so strong, and when you love something so strong, that thing is the thing that you are called to deal with. Now, let me tell you about another example in the New Testament. What about Paul? What about Paul? What about Paul? Paul was a man of great passion, and Paul was a man of great conviction as well. So he was so much in love with God and was so much in love with the truth of God. He went and get all the education he needed, and he studied, because it is the love that makes you to pay the price. It is the love that makes you to persevere. It is the love that makes you to endure. It is the love that makes you to go through what you need to go through. But at the same time, he hated everyone that was, or anything that was against God, or that in his own understanding that was not, in accordance to the worship of God the way he understood it. So in the case of Paul, he was, in love with God and his truth, and he hated everything that people were doing against that truth and against the right worship of God. So just close it very well. So, but that was the indication that is what Paul was called to deal with. So God found that passion. He had the two passions. He was qualified. He had both strong love and strong hatred. So what did God do? God went and took and got ahead of him and used that same strong love for God and strong hatred for ignorance, and use it to use him and turn him to a great warrior, a great apostle of the Lord Jesus Christ. So what is it that you have strong passion, strong love for? And what is it that you have a great anger for, a great hatred for? That is what you are supposed to confront in your life. That's what you are supposed to deal with. I don't know what it is in your own case, but look into your heart. Look into your heart. I told you the story of dear Perry already. I told you the story of Adelaja, alcoholic. I told you, the story of Moses. I told you the story of Paul. So whatsoever it is that that provokes in you the two opposite feeling of love and hatred, that is what you're called to deal with in life. Your calling is buried in your passion. Your calling is engraved in your feelings, in your temperament, in your responses, in your attitude. And whenever any subject is provoking two feelings in you, the feeling of love on one hand and the feeling of hatred on the other, it means God is trying to tell you something. God is trying to let you know that this is what you're supposed to confront. This is what you're supposed to confront. I mean, there are some people that just cannot stand injustice. They cannot stand injustice. They love justice so much that they hate injustice. So that is it. When you love to see justice to prevail so much, you are so passionate about justice. On the other hand, you hate injustice. That intersection of love and hatred is your calling. That intersection of love and hatred is your calling. So when the two feelings are in you, on one hand, you love this thing. You like things to be all right. You like things to function well. But on the other hand, you hate all the things that are happening right there. It means that those things that you hate are the things you are supposed to confront, are the things you are supposed to uproot, are the things that you are supposed to change. Our whole life is about change. Our whole life is about changing something. There is something that you definitely don't like. There is something that God will make you to dislike. There are some things that God will put that some indignation in you for, some hatred, some anger, some passion that you'll be passionate about, some things that you are not indifferent about. So that you will need to confront. And then at the same time, you will have the passion to make sure that things are right, that things are done right. You love some things. So when you have those two things playing out in you, then you need to stand and know that that is your calling. That's what you need to do. But it's not enough just for you to know what you're supposed to do or what you're supposed to confront. You must go beyond that. So if you know that you are supposed to deal with this particular subject, now what is your next step? Your next step is you must go and get yourself educated. You must add value to yourself. Add value to yourself. Go and learn everything that needs to be learned in that direction. Go and study all things that you need to study to make yourself fit to be able to address that situation. Go and study all the problems and all the questions related to that particular subject. Make sure that you know the subject in and out. Make sure that you are an expert, that you know that you read everything that has been written, that has ever been written about that subject. And once you know everything that you need to know, that means that you are adding value to yourself. The next thing you need to do, you need to come up with your own proposal. You need to sit down and write a proposal, or you write a project. What is a project? A project is a plan of what you want to bring to the table. A project is a plan of what are the things that you see that are good in that particular subject, what are the things that are wrong, and what are the things that you are bringing to the table to correct the things that are wrong. So what improvements are you proposing? What improvements are you bringing to the table? So you must come together with that plan to make things change and to improve the things that you are not satisfied with. Then another thing that you need to do is that you need to come and create a model. You need to create a prototype of how to solve that problem. You need, at least in a miniature situation, you need to create a miniature, a small amount of of the solution. You must see the model. We must see the prototype of how the thing will work when you apply all the principles that when you change the things that must be changed, and when you apply all the principles that you have learned. So if you are not only passionate about something and you don't add value to yourself and you don't upgrade yourself, you don't develop yourself in that area, and you don't present a solution and you don't bring forward a prototype, people will say you are not serious. You are only you're having passion without knowledge. But your passion should be complemented by knowledge, by good knowledge. You have to go and study, you have to add value to yourself, and you have to have some prototype. You have to have some plan, some project that is, that is showing people that you know what you are talking about and that you are capable of, bringing a lasting solution to that situation. Now, once you have done the prototype, the next thing you need to do is that you need to build yourself a platform to begin to advertise yourself. You need to begin to talk to people, look for people of like-mindedness, people of like-minded, people who might have similar passion, or who this thing that you are talking about might affect. You need to go and begin to look for people who need what you are talking about, or people who don't even know they need it, but you know they need it, or people that might help you, or people that might become your partners in future. So you need to begin to share your vision and begin to let people know what you are talking about, that you have this subject that you are addressing. And the more people know, the more God will have opportunity to bring the right people across you, either to partner with you or to help you, or to finance you, or to just be your co-workers, or to add one thing or the other to whatever you are doing. So after you start, you need to look for partners, you need to look for help, and for that to happen, you need to begin to speak about what you are doing. You need to advertise yourself, you need to promote yourself, you need to give out the word, let the word go out, and then you need to go and do presentations. We will do presentations and talk to people why what you are proposing will make the world a better place, or will resolve the particular problem or challenge that you are facing, and why the world needs it. So that is how you come to your place of calling, and that is how you not just discover your calling, but you are successful in your calling. And then you begin to sell yourself and promote yourself, advertise yourself, and market yourself, and turn that thing into money-making venture as well.